Welcome to Personality Psychology's video lecture. This is about love and hate. Two things that have been around since the dawn of time are love and hate. In the Bible, Cain loved and hated Abel. In Greek times, Paris abducted Helen of Troy, caused the Trojan War. What about the Hatfields and the McCoys? Then there's Adolf Hitler, who murdered over 11 million people in horrible ways. Or Jeffrey Dahmer, who had a series of male lovers, killed them, had sex with them when they were dead, chopped off their body parts, put them in the freezer, and ate them later. What about Romeo and Juliet, the ultimate love story? Or the suicide bombers that took out the World Trade Center? Let's talk about hate first. Researchers say that hate masks personal insecurities. The magazine Psychology Today said there are 7 stages to the psychopathology of hate, especially with groups. The first one, that haters gather. Haters don't usually like to hate alone. They often try to gather other haters to go with them, which is why they join the groups, because they're anonymous and the accountability is diminished. Stage 2, the hate group defines itself. They need something to identify with, a symbol, a ritual, etc. For example, skinheads adopted the swastika. The third stage, the hate group disparages the target. The more often somebody thinks about aggression, the greater chance for their aggressive behaviors to happen. Haters will constantly preach their hate to others, anyone who will listen. The fourth stage, the hate group taunts the target. They'll make fun of them, just like the abuser will groom their victims. Haters try to groom their target through taunting. It can get really worse, beginning with words, obscene gestures, all the way to graffiti. The fifth stage, the hate group attacks the target. This is the stage that separates those who talk the talk and those who walk the walk. The sixth stage, the hate group attacks. This is usually with weapons, broken bottles, baseball bat, guns, airplanes, so on and so on. And the final stage, the hate group destroys the target. One of the big things is they want to feel a mastery over life and death, almost like having a godlike power. They want to have control. So that now we know the psychopathology of hate, let's talk about the personality of hate. Throughout history, we have seen hate in literature, we've seen it in wars, in schools, and even in religion. Many of the personality theories see aggression and hate as a natural, biologically based aspect of humanity. We're genetically predisposed to hate. Another biological explanation for aggression and hatred is a brain disorder, both organic and drug-induced. Many people who have violent fits of rage have also shown to have abnormalities in their brain. Many violent attacks take place when someone has taken drugs, specifically methamphetamines. Hateful behavior tends to run in families. So now we're talking about the nature-nurture debate again. What would Freud say about all this? Well, he said that we all have the potential to be aggressive. We all have a death instinct. Not all of us act on it, but we may use it as a defense mechanism to deal with it. For example, if I truly hate my father, but I know that I can't take it out on him, I may take it out on every man who's going bald. Today, Freud would call many of these hateful people and serial killers as having a diagnosed antisocial personality disorder, even psychopaths or sociopaths. As kids, these people are the ones who are big bullies, who harm animals, destroy property, and have no remorse for their actions. The neo-analysts like Adler and Horney would say that hatred arises from insecurities, anxieties, and traumas of childhood, especially with the relationship they have with parents. Erich Fromm felt that people with an authoritarian personality have this cruel yearning to exert power over others. They take their possessions and they abuse them. Again, this comes from negative relationships with our parents. From the view of humanism and existentialism, aggression happens when we can't be totally fulfilled. Rogers believed that hatred came from a lack of positive regard in a kid's life, especially by parents. Maslow said that fear and doubt is at the root of all immaturity and hate. He felt that evil and hatred aren't part of our personalities, but instead was a result of the deficient environment. With the trait perspective, aggression is part of our personality. Cattell used factor analysis and described hatred. Eisnick related hate to psychoticism. With the measurement of these traits, vengeful people are found to be less forgiving, have greater negative feelings, and less satisfied with life. They ruminate and are not very agreeable, but highly neurotic. Cognitively, psychologists believe that it's our perception of the experience that determines our feelings of hatred and aggression. Hostility can result when our perception of others isn't supported. The learning theory promotes that hatred is a learned behavior. We can learn to become aggressive. Remember the Bobo doll? We watch models, imitate them, and then that is vicariously reinforced. For example, children who live in homes filled with hate often grow up to be hateful themselves, and this is learned hostility from the parents. Okay, so what about love? What is this crazy little thing called love? Love hurts, love stinks, love bites. Yes, those are all song titles, but if there is so much hate in the world, where does all this love come from? Do we hate because we love? Do we love because we hate? Evolutionary psychologists say that it's all about mate selection. Males want someone to love who can have babies, and women want someone to love who can care for her and her children. It's a value of survival. Freud thinks love is all about sexual instincts. It starts with the oral gratification and moves forward from there. Love for someone arises out of adult sex. He said that what is really done for love is really about sex. Erickson chimes in, saying that only those who found identity will be able to experience intimacy and love. Humanists and existentialists devote a lot of effort to explaining love. We must first love ourselves before we can love anybody else. Maslow said that we need to be loved, and being in love is more self-actualizing. Fromm said that we have a motherly love, a brotherly love, erotic love, immature love, and then mature love. Rollo May said that we have different types of love as well. There's sex, there's eros, there's philia, there's agape, and then there's authentic love. So, how is it that people can still hate and be aggressive with all of this love? How does intimate sex get so violent and so angry? Why does love make you do wrong? The haters are going to hate, but will love prevail? I hope that in my lifetime the hate goes away and love makes a big comeback.